You're upgrading your home's heating, and you get 3 quotes for the exact same house and the exact same heat pump. But here's the crazy part. The price gap between them could literally buy you a new car.
The first quote rolls in at a very tempting 9,500 euros.
The second? 14,000 euros. Okay, quite a jump. But then the third one drops, a staggering 24,000 euros for the exact same equipment.
Listen, that 14,500 euro gap, it has absolutely nothing to do with equipment quality, brand names, or the quirks of your house. It is entirely about the business model of the company quoting you. Choose wrong, and you are out thousands. But by the end of this explainer, I'm going to give you the exact 5 questions you need to ask to protect yourself from this massive trap.
Part 1. The private equity trap. Over the last 5 years, the European heating market completely fractured. We now have 2 entirely different types of contractors driving around in identical vans. See, private equity firms are quietly gobbling up local heating companies. They keep that trusted, friendly neighborhood name plastered on the side of the van, and your neighbor probably still recommends them. But behind the scenes, the structure is totally gutted. They've imposed strict, aggressive daily revenue targets on the technicians showing up at your door. The price difference between an independent installer and one of these corporate roll-up firms for the exact same installation is routinely 8,000 to 15,000 euros. You are not paying for a better heat pump. No, you're paying the salary of a polished comfort advisor and a bloated corporate revenue structure. These folks are trained not just to fix your broken system, but to aggressively sell you a total replacement. But here is what most homeowners completely miss. The corporate business model, that's only half the trap. What happens when you look at the cheapest option? Well, if a price looks way too good to be true, it is hiding massive future engineering costs that will absolutely drain your wallet within 5 years. There's a massive, hidden force pushing prices up across Europe right now, and it's going to hit you even if you do nothing. Under the EU's F-gas regulations, the quota for older refrigerants like R-410A was slashed. This caused wholesale prices to absolutely skyrocket. Now, a standard top-up repair that used to cost maybe a couple $100 will easily slap you with a 600 to 900 euro bill once labor and recovery are factored in. And take a close look at how these new refrigerants compare. Something like R-32 is pretty straightforward. A leak just means a standard top-up. But if a cheap installer quotes you a system using R-454B, that's a chemical blend. A significant leak means they have to do a full recovery and recharge just to keep the chemical mixture correct. That single detail creates a hugely expensive maintenance profile for the entire life of your system. So what exactly is that budget quote magically leaving out? The absolute most critical element, the manual J calculation. This is the precise engineering math of your home's exact thermal load. Budget quotes skip this, which mathematically guarantees they'll install an oversized system. And an oversized unit is a nightmare. It short cycles, meaning it turns on and off constantly, completely fails to remove humidity, and wears out years before it should. Without this math, the installer isn't engineering anything. They're just guessing. Oh, and there are even more hidden exclusions in those bargain quotes. They conveniently forget to mention crucial electrical consumer unit upgrades, mandatory ductwork corrections, and regulatory grid notifications. You have to normalize these quotes to compare them fairly, because when you add back the required electrical and ductwork upgrades, that cheap quote quickly balloons into the most expensive one on the table. It's a total financial trap. Part 2. The true cost tiers. Let's break down the objective math behind what you are actually buying in Western Europe right now. Pricing basically splits into 3 distinct buckets. You've got the stripped-down budget tier sitting around 9,000 euros, then the optimized mid-range at 14,000, and finally that hyperinflated premium tier soaring up to 24,000 euros. Now, let's run the lifetime return math on this because this is where it gets interesting. That budget tier, it leaves you with painfully high running costs due to poor commissioning. What about the premium tier? Sure, a top-of-the-line 20 SER2 unit might save you 300 euros a year on bills compared to a standard 15 SER2 unit, but if you're paying $5,000 extra upfront for that premium efficiency, you're looking at a 16-year payback period. And the brutal reality? A heat pump system simply isn't going to last 16 years. The optimized mid-range is where you actually get the best lifetime financial return. Now, here is a massive red flag to watch out for. After incentives is not a real number. If an installer hands you a quote with the government discount magically already subtracted, walk away immediately. That is, unless they can prove exactly who takes responsibility for actually submitting that application. Every single one of these programs has incredibly strict criteria. From the UK's boiler upgrade scheme offering up to £7,500, all the way to Germany's BEG covering 30 to 70% of costs. If your installer cannot provide the exact reference number and the specific eligibility rules for your country, consider that discount non-existent. Seriously, do not assume anything.
Part 3. The Mastery Playbook. Okay, so here is the exact framework to separate the actual engineers from the corporate sales reps before you let anyone touch your home's consumer unit. You need to ask every single installer these 5 specific questions. 1. Independently verify the model's SEER 2 and HSP F2 ratings yourself. 2. Explicitly demand a manual J calculation. 3. Require that all electrical and ductwork changes are written out as individual line items. 4. Ask for the exact cost of a full refrigerant recharge under a leak scenario. And 5. Confirm in writing exactly who handles the incentive application. Oh, and do one more thing. Search the installation company's name online, right next to the word acquired. That little trick will expose any hidden private equity ownership instantly. So let's look back at that initial 3-quote scenario. The reality is crystal clear now, right? That €24,000 quote is just paying for the performance review of a corporate technician. The €9,500 budget quote, it's completely missing scope, and that's going to cost you thousands in hidden running costs down the line. The mid-range quote actually earns its price tag through proper scope and correct engineering, not just a fancy brand name. Print out the 5-question comparison sheet linked below, hand it directly to your installer, and let the objective math protect your home. Because before spending €20,000 on the wrong upgrade, make absolutely sure you truly understand how the pieces fit together. The math doesn't lie. So ask yourself, is the person handing you that quote an actual engineer or just a corporate comfort advisor?